Of course, when something has only research that I've read and listened to the lectures and had conversations with people, so of course I can't prove certain things. But given the times we live in, is it crazy? Is it crazy to have a conspiracy theory? When you look around in the aesthetics of the world you live in and what you know to be true, don't you have a sense of what's true sometimes, just based on intuition? Because I want to tell you something. This makes sense to me. That the entire world was populated with dark-skinned humans. And that a madman bred humans like we were flowers or animals, bred humans, intentionally taking the lightest skinned humans he could find and corralling them onto an island and breeding them lighter and lighter by cultivating an environment where when a dark-skinned baby came, they would abort it immediately. A post-birth abortion. A sick society. A sick society. Ironically started, of course. How could you put that into effect unless a black man began the whole project? But after centuries of secretly breeding white people in an environment where they were the only people on the entire planet who gave a fuck about what color your skin was. With guilt and shame and fear that your baby might be too dark and be taken from you. And hiding what we were doing, hiding what that culture was doing. Don't tell the outside world, which means knowing it was wrong, knowing that any normal human would be appalled and try to stop what you were doing. But breeding people to go along with it anyway. This is the psychology of whiteness. And not only is it plausible and quite believable when I look around in the society that I was born into, but I personally feel the evil. It's in everything white people do. It's in the aesthetic of what white people want from this world. In death metal and moshing and skateboarding and skydiving. Weapons of mass destruction. And when white people were discovered and introduced into the society, they were shunned not for the color of their skin, but for their behavior. Banished off into the wildlands. Denied the majesty of a well-developed global society that clearly made majestic stone buildings that we don't even know how they did it these days. Their white skin burning in the sun until they were forced to hide in the forests and mountains and caves, living like animals, going another century or more, breeding hairy bodies like an animal to protect us, to keep our clothing away from our skin. And the theory of evolution explains Asians and all various different colors of brown that are out there. But white people are a breed apart and make no sense. Satan's little season is just white people. Can white people be good? Of course. The remedy for this problem is just knowledge of self. Knowing where whiteness comes from allows you to think outside of this programming. But you have to realize, white people are smart. Evil is not the same thing as dumb or naive or ignorant even. Evil can be an adaptation that allows you to thrive in some environments. And that's what happened. Men who realized what happened. A race of whiteness who decided that instead of integrating back into the rest of the planet, a lush, diverse jungle paradise with thousands of different micro environments all over the place. And every single part of the destruction of the natural world has been whiteness. All of it. White people themselves on the individual level should be judged by the content of their character. But white culture is a sick disease that destroys everything in its path. And it must be stopped. Over and over, white people infiltrated beautiful societies and formed secret lineages and meticulously, secretly documented it. After centuries of living in secret, in shame and fear of being discovered, white people became experts at creating secret societies for no reason, to no benefit even to themselves. Instead of building beautiful, majestic cathedrals and palaces, white people are responsible for paving the forest, turning everything we can possibly get our hands on into a crust of disgusting concrete and box stores and cheap plastic fucking bullshit. The culture war is real. The culture war is real. It has never stopped. And you need to realize the Abrahamic religions are the history of the worst people that have ever existed. Ever. Spreading their memes into the rest of humanity. Destroying every beautiful pagan idea that the creativity of all these different subcultures and different micro environments have influenced from nature. ripping the animism out of all humanity and indoctrinating us with this fucking bullshit about the chosen people. What the fuck is Zionism besides white power on steroids? They're like the king of racist white people. The only Zionists known to the fucking planet. The only Zionists that humanity has ever created are the most racist, disgusting, murderous people. They torture, they rape, they enslave. And what's so sick about the society that we live in is that we don't remember what society was like, because you can see in real time. I'm going to turn 50 years old next year, and I know that the history is being erased right before my fucking eyes. Not only do these people co-opt every other culture, but within a generation or two, they claim it was theirs all along and warp it and turn it into a sick, pale comparison to what they stole. There is no shame in simply being white. But being proud of the culture? Are you fucking crazy? How many times are we supposed to watch blonde-haired, middle-aged people laughing at the death of children? Blonde people with an American accent, dead smack in the middle of the Middle East, saying that their lineage came from there? Are you fucking kidding me? That's the insidiousness of mind control, of hypnosis, of brainwashing, whatever you want to call it. It used to be called magic. It is not just Jewish people, and it is not just Christians. The tie that binds is the fucking fantasy that white people have ever had any sort of culture to be proud of. And it has gotten to the point that white people being at the helm of a global society, dominating the planet to this level, is making the planet unlivable for all humans. White people must be stopped. So regardless of the color of your skin, being on the side of the dominant white culture in America, in Israel, is suicide. It's suicide. I'm not saying this as a threat. I'm saying this as a fact manifest in front of you when you look around at the world you live in. You must join our side or die. No matter how white or blonde or shining white your skin is, you must join our side. Abandon whiteness. Abandon Zionism. The history of the Abrahamic religions is a death cult. Even the Christians worshiping a dead body nailed to wood on the wall, wearing an executioner's symbol around their neck. This is a death cult. It must be stopped. The consequences that made me bite my tongue as I realized this are nothing compared to the reality of simply doing nothing. Losing friends or family or my job is nothing compared to the consequence of staying silent while this fucking bullshit continues. As a white person, I'm naturally inclined to shame and secrecy. And I realized that's exactly how it perpetuates. Not being able to comment on the sick death and cannibalism of children, the rape of children, because it would be impolite, because it might ruin someone's day or damage my reputation to say something about it. Knowing my behavior and my attitude as a revolutionary, influenced by hip hop and punk rock, and trying my fucking damnedest to step outside of the traditions that my shameful ancestors tried to bestow on my people. Does it look like I'm living in squalor or unhappiness? Does it look like I'm destitute? Does it look like it ruined anything? Every bad thing about America right now is because of white culture. Everything. Zionism is mind control. It is a death cult. You could have absolutely nothing in common with anyone else and still be on the side that I'm on. We could have nothing in common. Just compassion and logic, common sense, puts us on the same side. The only way that you could possibly disagree with me is if you value cruelty. Is if you delusionally think that if you join in the madness, you will be protected.